Hi there. Welcome to the free training today. Today, ladies, I'm going to be talking about controlling the urge to overeat this holiday. My name is Dr. Kirsten Grant. And in this training, I promise that I'll be covering the following things. And if you're tempted to binge, two very powerful questions that you need to ask yourself. Also, I'll be covering two ingredients that have been linked to overeating, food addiction, and food cravings. I'll also be covering two secrets that have been causing women to gain weight. Finally, I'll be talking about the exact system that I use to help a wife and a mom lose the baby weight and just finally feel more comfortable in her skin. Okay? Before we go any deeper, just want to make sure everybody's in the right place. I've just got two quick survey questions to ask you real fast just to get to know everybody. Answer 1, 2, or 3 to whatever applies to you, okay? When I start eating certain foods, I end up eating much more than planned. 1, 2 to 4 times a month. 2, 2 to 3 times a week. 3, 3 to 4 times a day. Now, once again, there are absolutely no right or wrong answers in here. Just trying to get a better idea of everyone's experience, okay? Just type it in the chat, okay? All right. The results, according to a survey that was recently launched for my study, is that 70% of women answered 3 to 4 times a day. All right. Final question. How many times in the past year have you tried to cut down or stop eating certain foods altogether? Answer 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. 1 is once, 2 is twice, 3 is 3 times, 4 is 4 times, 5 is 5 or more times. Once again, how many times in the past year have you tried to cut down or stop eating certain foods altogether? Once again, there are absolutely no right or wrong answers. Just trying to get an idea of your journey, really, and also how things have been going 365 days a year without even the holidays coming upon us, okay? All right, so I see a lot of 3s and some 4s. Okay. Well, according to a recent survey, 50% of women answer 4 times a day or more. Yes, yes. Okay, so before we get into the training, let me just introduce myself and that way you can get to know my story, okay? My name is Dr. Kirsten Grant, and I am a wife and a mom. And also, actually, I should probably back up a little bit. But that is a picture of my family right there, okay? So when I was younger, okay, since we are talking about how to control the urge to overeat over the holidays always held a really special time of year and magic for me, even when I was younger. Okay, my mom, she would always kill herself to cook like every single thing, and she would just like eat everything that's like not nailed down, like a whole package of bacon. The only thing is, okay, and not only did my mom do this, but my great grandmother would do this. My great grandmother, however, had a very magical gift. My great grandmother's gift was that she was able to basically create the equivalent of a holiday meal and feast anytime she wanted. And it was effortless for her. She could just go in the kitchen, whip it up in like lightning speed and time. And imagine almost having the equivalent of Thanksgiving and Christmas on demand, okay? And she would eat just almost all of the food whenever she felt like it. Okay, so we really didn't have to wait for the holidays to roll around in order to have these delectable foods around, okay? Problem is when you're eating a whole package of bacon and it's not the holidays and you're doing this and it's just because it's a Saturday, okay? Now, my mom, she was always, as what some people call way back in the day, big bone. She was a thick thighs, save lives kind of lady, okay? Before this term was actually popular. And at one point in time, she decided that she wanted to lose the weight because at that time her weight was a little bit over 200 pounds. Now, this probably was, I probably say close to 30 years ago. This was before Judy Craig and Weight Watchers became popular. There was this salon place that was not too far from our house. She would pick me up. I was a kid at the time. She would pick me up and go with her, and she would work out. She would meet with a counselor, and she did this several times a week, and she would somewhat try to watch her portions. And this was on the heels of husband number one, my father, leaving. Well, when I was younger. Okay, so she was really wrestling with a lot of things mentally, and she realized that things had got just a little bit out of control. So she'd go to the salon a couple of times a week. She'd chat with someone. She'd work out on the machines, and magical thing happened. She lost like I think 50 pounds. Okay, and what that taught me was you don't have to give in to your genetics. You are not a prisoner to your genetics. My great grandmother was very, very thick thighs, saved lives. She had super thick thighs. She could save a lot of lives. My cousin was super thick thighs, could save a lot of lives. My mom, super thick thighs, could save a lot of lives. Did not have to basically follow that same path. My mom lost 50, 60 pounds working on this. And it showed me that when you set your mind to something and have the right tools and the right coaching and the right resources there for you, you can actually accomplish what you set your mind to. And in this case, she lost weight. So fast forward 3 husbands later, she gained that weight back and more, unfortunately. And by the time my mom had passed away, we couldn't even find her a normal size coffin. Okay. Now, during this leading up to that point in time, I had started a fitness company before that occurred. And we had great momentum. I worked with women that were interested in losing weight, but I wanted it to be something that was fun. So if you really couldn't stand the gym, you hated to work out, I thought it would be fun if we danced. So that's where the opportunities arose, where I wound up being featured on ABC Channel 7, NBC Channel 5, CLTV, Metro Mix TV, WGN Channel 9. Had the pleasure of speaking in front of audiences that had 100 people, thousands of people, and for national TV, millions of people watching. So I helped so many women, and women lost 20 pounds, 30 pounds, that hit their fitness goals. I would teach them little cool tips and sneaky tricks and secrets to flatten their tummy and reduce the bloat. And the thing that always haunted me was the fact that even though I had all this critical success and acclaim, I could not get my mom to attend not one of my classes. Meanwhile, I have hundreds of women that I worked with that were able to lose the weight. And it didn't matter what age they were. They were in their 20s, they were 30s. I even had a grandmother coming to my class because it was fun. It was dancing. Okay. The ladies that you see there are local Chicago celebrities, news anchor Linda Yu and Sylvia Perez. They even took the classes that I was offering at that time, and they had fun and lost weight. So these things were super awesome. And the things that I came up with and the ideas I came up with, they really, really worked. So that was really the beginning of before we get to this point here, ironically. Okay. So then I was really working out really hard, and I got an opportunity to join academia. And well, I decided I couldn't juggle both successfully. So what I decided to do was I ended and put that company on hiatus, okay, and worked on just really investing my time in academia and running a school. I wound up being second in command at a school, a university, okay, where I helped a lot of people in allied health, created coaching programs for students, and really helped them stay in college and finish college, okay? So that was pretty awesome. And during that time, I completed my doctorate degree in health psychology, and I'm also finishing up my doctorate degree in clinical holistic nutrition. Now, before I finished my doctorate degree in health psychology, my mother passed away. And when all the dust settled, and I went to her home, and I walked up the stairs and I walked into her bedroom where I'm used to seeing her there. And you know how you have to clear out things and move things around. I approached her dresser drawer in her bedroom and I opened it. It was so heavy, I almost couldn't open it. But when I finally did pull it open, all these diet books fell out. So I'm looking through all of these things and I'm seeing diet books on how to lose weight, the top things you should eat to lose weight. Here are recipes that you can cook to lose weight. So I was looking at that and so I said, okay, so then I moved on and I opened up another drawer. And the second dresser drawer, it was heavier than the first. And by the time I finally pried it open, there were more diet books, even more. And those diet books were older than the first set of diet books that I found in the first drawer. And these diet books were also talking about losing weight, drinks that you can drink, teas that you can drink and sip throughout the day to boost your metabolism, raise your metabolism. She even found a few newspaper clippings. So that opened up the third dresser drawer. And that one, fortunately, was lighter than the rest. But the third dresser drawer, the only reason why it was lighter is that it was filled with all these newspaper clippings of recipes that are guaranteed to help you shed the fat in 7 days and how to lose more weight in 30 days and avoid bariatric surgery, doing this. And it was, I would say, as I thumbed through these clippings and articles, something dawned on me that losing weight is not a matter of counting calories. It's not a matter of not having the right recipe. It's not a matter of weighing your food. It's the mind. It has to do with the mind. And if we don't work on the mind, all of this information, it doesn't stick. It's like trying to pre-program your brain and trying to insert a software in there. And if you are a Mac user, okay, and you try to install a software that's for a Word user, a Microsoft Word user, it's not going to translate. So it's not a matter of information. It's not even a matter of willpower because my mother wanted to lose the weight. And at one point in time, she did lose the weight, but life gets in the way. So how do we do this here? You have health goals, yet you find yourself overeating. You find yourself having to work late, and then you miss your chance to go to the gym, or you come home and you're totally tired. All these things that kept happening. I'd see my mother working late at night and she'd come home, she planned on going to the gym, but then she didn't go. Okay. So something dawned on me after looking at 3 huge dresser drawers filled with diet books and weight loss articles that actually span back to before I was even born, the 60s even. Not that I'm trying to tell my age here. But it dawned on me that women needed a solution that was something that was sustainable, that could be long term, and something that worked on the root of the problem and was practical to implement. Everybody with me? Does that kind of make sense? Type yes in the chat if it does. Okay, type yes in the chat even if this is something that would be pretty awesome. So I was wrapping up my doctorate degree at that time in health psychology, and I decided to change direction. And I decided to start studying everything that pertained to obesity, weight loss, why women gain weight, genetics, the psychology of the mind. I looked at MRI scans of brains. I looked and researched and studied epigenetics. That's the role of genetics on your body and disease and weight gain and weight loss. I studied neurolinguistic programming, all sorts of things. Okay. I even studied some things that actually I reconnected with some things that I had studied a long time ago because I was finally able to get more recent up to date scientific research. Things such as neurolinguistic programming, where you're learning to reprogram your brain. Hypnotherapy is another way to use the subconscious and tap into the subconscious to reprogram your brain, to make these changes sustainable and help you achieve your goals and help you get out of your way and make your life grander and more complete and transform your life, because weight loss is only one part of the journey. It's usually life. It's not that you don't know how many calories, it's usually life. And how do we navigate those challenges, and how do we turn to food for comfort, for example? Okay, so studied all those things and designed a study that worked, but I'll talk about that more later. And also, in my perfectionistic ways, decided to finish up a second degree in clinical holistic nutrition, get certified as a personal trainer, also a health, life, and weight loss coach. And my research findings were so successful that I've been invited to be a speaker at the International Council of Obesity and Chronic Diseases. All right, so that's enough about me. Let's get deeper into the training itself and the reason why you're here. So, the first thing I want to talk about is if you're tempted to binge. If you're tempted to binge, what are the two questions that you need to ask? The first thing that you need to ask yourself when you're tempted to binge is not to sit there and be focusing on the food that you're thinking about or the emotion that's triggered and driving you. Okay. And we could talk about triggers all day. But before we get into that, ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Whatever that thought is. You see, the reason why you binge is usually your body's way of sharing with you and sending up a signal, a chemical signal to you that there's something that needs to be filled in your life. And it's not your tummy. Okay. It is a psychological thing. Okay. So before you get into filling your tummy and eating to the point that you're full or stuffed, or even eating, I've had many women share with me about times that they weren't even hungry. Okay, they weren't even hungry, but they ate anyway. Okay, so the first thing that you need to ask yourself is this thought helping me? Whatever thought it is that's attacking your mind right now and is making you feel either less than, or you're triggered by an event that happened, and perhaps you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling like you're unheard, or you're feeling as if you are being controlled, or you're feeling as if you're not appreciated, things of that nature. That's the root. And you are feeling empty because of that trigger, whatever it is, be it a person, an event at work, anything. Okay. The next question is very, very crucial, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. The next question is, what tools do I need to move forward or take the next step? The reason why this question is so powerful, and this works towards reprogramming your brain every time you ask it, is because your mind cannot maintain the momentum of two directions at the same time. So in one direction, you want to binge and you want to eat. The other direction is you're asking your brain to come up with and change tracks and trajectory. Okay, and ask, what tools do I need to move forward or take the next step? This forces your brain to start crafting a solution to your problem. So whatever that problem is, you're stressed out from work, maybe you're just tired, or maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. This forces your brain to actually start crafting ideas. And it's like a bubble floating to the surface of your mind, where it begins to craft ideas to solve your problem. Okay, if you allow yourself to drift in that direction, along that train of thought, the urge to binge will begin to lessen, or the frequency of your binges will begin to lessen, and or the intensity of your binges will begin to lessen over time. And what you're ultimately doing is challenging your negative thought. okay, and reprogramming and taking the first step to reprogramming your brain. All right. Does that make sense, ladies? Type yes in the chat if it does. If this was really insightful, definitely let me know. Type yes or just say insightful or cool. Next question. Now, the two ingredients that have been linked to overeating, food addiction, and food cravings, okay? Because there are actual ingredients, for those of you that don't know, there are actually ingredients that are in food that are added to food that for ladies that are interested in trying to curb their urge to overeat actually moves you more in the direction of overeating where you can't stop. And for those of us that are inclined to binge, it really taps into your need to binge. So this is very important to know what these ingredients are. The ingredient is high fructose corn syrup. That's one, okay? And I'll discuss a bit more about that. Now, why avoid foods that contain high fructose corn syrup? Here's why. What it does is that it starts a cycle, okay? The cycle is you eat the food that contains high fructose corn syrup. This in turn reduces the brain's ability to detect leptin. Leptin is the chemical that's responsible for your ability to feel satiated, also commonly known as feeling full. Ghrelin is a chemical that's emitted by your body to let you know that you're hungry. So if you're eating a food that actually begins to reduce your brain's ability to sense a chemical that is responsible for making sure that you feel full and telling your brain, I'm full, what it results in happening is you wind up overeating and also you wind up experiencing food cravings, which in turn makes you gain weight. And because you're overeating and experiencing these food cravings for this food that contains high fructose corn syrup, this vicious cycle starts again, okay, where you eat, you reduce the brain's ability to detect leptin, you overeat in the food cravings, you gain weight. And that cycle continues for as long as you're continuing to consume foods that contain high fructose corn syrup in them, okay? And there are foods that even when you're dieting or you think that you're eating good, okay, there are still foods that contain high fructose corn syrup in it. For example, a lot of soups, okay? And the high fructose corn syrup is added to foods for two very good reasons, okay? There are actually more than two, but by food manufacturers, they're added because of the fact that it improves what's called the mouth texture of the food, and it also makes the food stay fresh longer, not to mention the flavor, okay? So it's very much to the advantage of a food manufacturer to add this to foods, just not so much advantage and not so advantageous for you. The second ingredient that's been linked to overeating, food addiction, and food cravings is MSG, which stands for monosodium glutamate. Now, why avoid foods that contain monosodium glutamate? You avoid these foods or will perhaps be interested in avoiding these foods because it's called what's called an excitotoxin. So an excitotoxin, what it does, and I'll have a brain scan, an MRI scan in the next slide, but what it does is that it damages neurons in the brain. So here's the cycle here. You eat something containing MSG, monosodium glutamate. What it does is that it literally excites your brain cells to the point of being damaged and dying, which in turn causes you to need to eat more of the food that contains the MSG in order to get that same feeling of satisfaction, taste, and flavor. And at the same time, it sets up the urge for you to crave that food, which in turn causes you to gain weight. And the vicious cycle just continues. You eat, the neurons are damaged, you overeat, and then if you have food cravings, you gain weight. So you keep having this vicious cycle. Now, MSG, it makes food taste good. And it really doesn't have an interesting flavor at all. It actually is quite flavorless. But what it does is that it activates something in your palate called the umami portion of your palate and of your tongue. And this is very titillating and tantalizing when added to foods. But by itself, it actually has no appeal whatsoever. But when you add it to foods, it intensifies the flavor of that food, okay? So I'll show you a brain scan here, okay? The brain scan on the left is a brain scan of someone that has ingested sugar, okay? The brain scan on the right is of someone that's ingested cocaine. If you look at the areas that are activated, and those are the areas that are shaded in a green and yellow, you'll notice that they kind of overlap, okay? And MSG also plays on the brain and activates the brain in the same way as these brain scans here. So it evokes the same reaction in your brain as a drug addict's brain, which is the reason why you wind up consuming more foods that have MSG in them. So the goal here, and the solution here, avoid foods that contain MSG and high fructose corn syrup. When you have a free moment, my recommendation to you to take the first step in this direction is to look in your kitchen cabinet and to look in your freezer, because it's contained in a lot of prepackaged foods. It's contained in soups. It's contained in sauces. It's contained in even your seasonings. So the seasonings that you're using to flavor your food sometimes contain MSG in them, okay? Just a little homework assignment after this. All right, so on to the next question that I promised that I would answer for you in this training. 2 secrets that women have been taught about eating healthy that are actually making them step on the hamster wheel of losing weight and then gaining it back. First, the calories in versus calories out principle. This is an archaic principle. It is not as simple, okay, to just have calories in, calories out. Number one, calories are entirely different, okay, just depending upon their source, okay? A calorie from a fruit that you eat as opposed to drinking the same equivalent in calories from a fruit drink is entirely different. I'll give you an example of apple juice. If I eat an apple, it may have 70 calories, but I'm also getting the vitamins and the nutrients, the fiber-filling pulp, the pectin of the apple, as opposed to drinking 70 to 100 calories of apple juice. Those things are missing. So, of course, it's better to eat the apple, okay? But people are taught, well, let's just go ahead and, drink the juice or just watch our calories or something like that and we'll be fine. But what you're missing in that example would be the satiety that you get and the fiber that you get from actually just eating the physical apple in this example, okay? The next thing and secret that women have been taught about eating healthy that's actually making them step on this hamster wheel is skipping meals to make up for the naughty meals. Look, all that does is tell your brain, oh, we're in starvation mode. Okay, well, as soon as we can get a hold of some food, or as soon as we smell something or see an opportunity to get some food, we should really jump at it. So if you wind up starving yourself throughout the day or skipping meals in order to make up for the naughty meals, or let's say that you, for example, wind up not eating as much throughout the day with the hopes of eating a decent salad by the time you get home at night, there's only one caveat with that. Your brain is in that starvation mode. So when you start driving home and all of a sudden you see the big, pretty sign for your favorite fast food restaurant, your brain is going to sit there and say, let's go eat the fast food restaurant. Also, if that fast food restaurant has been using high fructose corn syrup and MSG, you can see how you wind up eating it. Okay, so you might actually adhere to skipping meals to make up for the naughty meals, but in the long run, you wind up gaining the weight back. Okay, so you might lose the weight, okay, but you gain it back, and that's not what we want here. I know I said 2 secrets, but I'm going to cover 3. If the label says low fat, then it's good. Well, perhaps you've kind of began to glean from my examples and the information I've shared with you about MSG and high fructose corn syrup here. A lot of low-fat food, in order to make it taste good, we're going to add those 2, then food manufacturers are going to add those 2 ingredients to make it taste good, okay? All right, so once again, also psychologically, once again, your brain sits up there and thinks, okay, it's low fat, that means I can eat more of it. So you might lose weight, but then you wind up gaining it back, especially when a trigger happens in your life psychologically, okay? Now, finally, the exact system that I use to help a wife and a mom lose the baby weight is our final part of this discussion, okay? So let me walk you through it. What I did is that I designed a study. Remember when I was sharing with everyone about what happened with my mom and how all of a sudden I just decided to change my major. Well, not change my major, but change my focus, my research focus. And I started researching all these different things on weight loss, epigenetics, psychology. What I wound up doing is coming across, out of over 100 psychological theories, I came across the psychological theory called social cognitive theory. And social cognitive theory, it is one of the best theories and best psychological constructs to help people lose weight. But since I work with women to lose weight, because what it does is that it's extremely flexible, customizable, and organic, and it works with your brain. And a very prominent part of social cognitive theory is the principle of what's called self-efficacy. Self-efficacy pertains to your ability to believe that you have the ability to actually achieve the goals that you have. It also pertains to something called facilitation, which means let's go get the tools and actively pursue the tools to ensure that you get what you need in order to accomplish the goals that you have. Okay. There's other components to social cognitive theory, but this is why I picked this theory. Okay. So I found this theory. I designed a study around a 4-week study, and I basically provided information and coaching online after recruiting and sending out an ad, and 8,000 women responded and expressed an interest in the ad. And well, a lot of women participated. I think it was a shy under 100 women by the end completed it. And it was just 10 minutes a day, once a week for 4 weeks. And I provided that coaching to those ladies that stated that they were experiencing food addiction symptoms like overeating, weight gain, the inability to stop eating, even if they find that they aren't hungry, they continue to eat, withdrawal symptoms, or going out of their way, for example, to get the food that they desire. And 10 minutes a week for 4 weeks with very specific instructions on how to attack that and how to reprogram your brain resulted in a majority of the study participants actually getting a huge improvement. And what I did, remember that Yale Food Addiction survey that I launched earlier, and I helped with you guys, share with you guys, okay, a few of those questions. So I surveyed them when they started, and I surveyed the ladies when they finished. And there was a huge decrease in all of their binging, their overeating, their food cravings. And even though I wasn't even looking for this, their weight loss, okay? All right, so that is our training. This is everything that we covered. The exact system that I use to help a wife and a mom lose the baby weight. If you're tempted to binge, 2 very powerful questions to ask. 2 ingredients to stay far away from that have been linked in scientific studies to food addiction, overeating, and food cravings. And that's a duplicate in that slide. But now, hopefully this training has been helpful for you. Definitely type yes in the chat if that's the case. I'm so hoping that it has been helpful. Okay, wonderful. Now, if you're willing to stay on a little bit longer, for those of you that are interested, you can take this training that I've given you, and just this information alone will help you move the needle in your life, even by 1 degree, to help you overcome the urge to overeat 365 days a year, but especially with the holidays coming. But if you would like to learn how to get additional assistance with that, if you would like to learn a deeper set of secrets and my system that I tweaked and now have rolled out to ensure that you get the help that you need to make long-lasting results, and if you'd like someone to take you by the hand and help you achieve your transformation and address your life challenges, and also help you fight the urge to overeat, where you can walk past your favorite foods and not overeat and not give in, please hang around. I invite you to hang around, okay? All right. So I took the information from my study that was successful, and I decided to tweak it a little bit and added more coaching components to it to ensure that you're even more successful with it, okay? And what I did is I came up with a 6-module system. What we start with in week 1 is a life wheel. And in that life wheel, I sit down with you and I review all the components of your life that are causing you to succeed and other components of your life that are maybe causing you not to achieve the goals that you want, especially in the areas of overeating. And what we do is slowly move the needle more to reprogramming your brain over the course of 12 weeks. Now, my study worked in 4 weeks. I'm just giving you extra weeks just to help you. And also, it's a maintenance period. Okay. So, in this life wheel, we look at your personal life, where you are, where you want to be, your career, where you are, where you want to be, your beliefs, where you are, where you want to be, and also your health and your fitness goals, where you are and where you want to be. In the 6 module system, we cover these areas here. Module 1, get addicted to you. Here, I immerse myself in your life and we work on things together of where are the top areas that you want to transform. Module 2, 5 truths about eating healthier that no one wants to talk about. A lot of times people decide that they're going to change their life, transform, especially with the holidays and the New Year's coming upon us. And actually over 70% of dieters that make these New Year's resolutions, they fail within the first 30 days and they go back to their old eating habits. So why is that? That's the point of module 2. We're going to address it head on and we're going to tackle it and we're going to prevent it from happening. And I'm going to take your hand and guide you through it. Module 3, is your food helping you or hurting you? Module 4, just say yes. I'm not talking about eating celery sticks, and I'm not talking about avoiding ice cream. What I am talking about, however, is let's find the ice cream that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it so it doesn't trigger you to overeat and binge. I utilize the same technique and approach even for my own 2 pregnancies with my children. I knew weight gain was inevitable, but what I could sit up there and do is make sure that I didn't wind up succumbing to the urge to overeat and binge. Okay, so this is the reason why I'm covering this because I'm realistic. We want ice cream, we want cookies. Okay, 7 tricks to sticking to your goals in module 5 because you need, now that you get things mastered, now that you have customized some things and have some good momentum, it's very easy to what's called relapse, fall off the wagon, so to speak. So I'm going to give you in module 5, 7 tricks to sticking to your goals. And in module 6, a sexy and energetic you. In module 6, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit even about foods to eat to help you with your libido, okay, and even to increase your sex drive. And we even sit there and talk a little bit more about fashion because it's about more even than your mind. Sometimes a few simple tweaks on your wardrobe can make all the difference in the world. Working with what you have, not suggesting go out and buy a brand new wardrobe, okay? So next I'm going to sit there and show you on the website several of the items here for edible addiction. That is the name of the website and also where the trainings are held, okay? So this is edible addiction. I'm going to expand it out a little bit so that you can see it. That's my hubby. Bye, hubby. Okay, edibleaddiction.com. So this is the website here, okay? This is the first page. So when you decide to move forward, then you log on to this page and you see this here, okay? The classes themselves are housed here. Okay. So the classes are housed here. And as you can see, we have the introductory video and also the lessons. Now, in each one of these modules, there are several sub-modules listed here. Okay, so it's not just me covering only that one thing. And don't forget, you also wind up getting coaching one-on-one, okay, to help you crystallize and finalize several of these things and also flush out some of the things that have been holding you back. Okay, so as you can see, all the modules are housed here. Okay, and you would just simply click on the modules and you would go into each one of these areas for the different subtopics under there and the different videos under there to help walk you through the class material. Okay, and I did this for a very specific and very important reason, and that reason is over 75% of people that sign up for these personal development, improvement, self-improvement classes and courses where you're doing it yourself and it's self-navigated, self-run, self-taught, they don't finish. Okay? I want you to be able to finish. Okay? So it's for this reason that I've made sure that I've included several other very key areas and bonuses there, and I'll be talking about that soon. But before we go into that, I want you to meet one of the ladies that participated in the system. Okay? This is Heather. And her testimonial and her story is on the website of edibleaddiction.com. But she participated in the system. And as you can see, she had great results. Okay. And her story is really, really long and really, really insightful. And I invite you to check out edibleaddiction.com to learn more about her. But one of the things that she said, and the most prominent thing that I want to share, is she said, you may wonder, how did you lose all that weight? And to that, I answer, one day, I just got really sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's what drove her to finally say, I want to do something else. I want to do more. Also, let me introduce you to Marie.
Hello, my name is Marie Hyman, and I decided to start this food program because I am an obsessive compulsive eater, and I have gained about 70 pounds over, maybe a 5-year period, and the overeating got way out of hand, and I noticed that it was an emotional issue, and certain foods made me want more and more and more. And so I found that the program that I've been following has been helping me with the looking at the ingredients in the products that I buy, and if there's high fructose corn syrup, or if the sugars are high, the carbohydrates are high. And I've been just following a lot of the ideas that were given to me by Kirsten, and realizing that if I just don't pick up that first one, that I don't really want more and more and more. And if I put my thoughts to something else and don't go to it, and maybe go outside for a few minutes, or look at some nature or something like that, that the thought disappears. So far, I've lost 15 pounds with this program, and I'm continuing working hard at it. I have good days and bad days, and I'm not perfect, and none of us are, but I try. It's in my mind all the time now about trying to eat the right things rather than eat all day like I'm used to eating. So I've been buying produce and a lot of different foods that I keep in sight that are healthy, instead of the unhealthy things, the chips and the candies and stuff like that. So they keep my mind also in the right place, and they also keep me motivated to eat the right things. And that'll be all for me. So thank you, and everybody, we can do this. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Marie, for sharing your story. I really appreciate her. And Marie is not the only person that lost 15 pounds in just 4 weeks. There were other people that participated in the study and in my system that I created, and they lost that weight and even a little bit more in just 4 weeks. It was absolutely amazing. Like I said before, the irony behind this is that I wasn't even looking for those results. Okay. So I tweaked the program, the original program, because I wanted to ensure and make sure that everybody benefited from it. And now what I've created is something more powerful and even more effective than the first program. So now I include in those 6 modules, we're going to talk about ways to help you identify some of your limiting beliefs, help you control the urge to overeat, and implement customized goals over the course of 12 weeks. Now, as I said before, my original study was 4 weeks and it was extremely effective. And actually, that was really without the one-on-one on the phone or video health coaching. That was just me sharing the information in a webinar format for 10 minutes once a week for 4 weeks. So imagine what would happen if I was able to and actually have one-on-one time. I wanted to have one-on-one time, but I just wanted to see about the information I was sharing. Okay. Now, I also provide recipe ideas because a lot of the time we're craving stuff. And one of the reasons why we go for it and fall into it is because we don't know how to sit there and make it at home, which we definitely know if we make it at home, we've got control over it. We can even tweak it a little bit to make it even more tasty. And you cut out the chances of ingesting high fructose corn syrup and MSG. Perfect example, I've made items that are served at the original Pancake House, if that's in your area. I'm a huge breakfast fan. So, but that's just my thing. But dinner as well. And I include these ideas to help you with your lifestyle. We identify together which theme you're on, if you're on team sweet or team savory, and work from there of the foods that you like to eat. And that way you don't feel deprived. I also include a live group Q&A in the form of webinar sessions once a week. Also, to talk to other individuals, I offer a Facebook group and 5 immersions where we just talk it out. So that way, if you're feeling stuck in week 1, we go deep. We discuss what your past habits have been, what some of your future goals are, what's held you back in the past. And these are going to be the keys to helping you reprogram your brain to take those steps that you need to take without it feeling painful, without you feeling like you're being pushed, okay? And make it more effortless instead of going at this alone. So we talk in week 1 one-on-one, 3rd week, 6th week, 9th week, and 12th week. In addition to every week getting on a live webinar together in order to address whatever your concerns might be. And the webinars are recorded, so that way if you happen to miss that time, that's okay. I'll make sure the recording is available and uploaded to the site ASAP. Also, to ensure that you're successful, I've included extra bonuses. How to fight emotional eating. I've made that into a course because a lot of the times, the reason why we overeat and binge is because we're triggered and we're emotional eaters. So according to the feedback that I've received from tons of ladies, this is the reason why I've included the How to Fight Emotional Eating course. Also, for those of you that need a little bit of help on cooking, how the heck do I make this weekly video series? Now, reason why I included this, wait, for starters, how many people know how to cook? If you know how to cook, type yes in the chat. If you don't know how to cook, type no or maybe. I did this for a very specific reason. I learned something so important. One time I was in Kentucky, out of state, on an important job assignment, and I went to an Asian restaurant. And at that time, I was fascinated with Asian food and specifically Thai food. I read the recipes, but I was afraid to try them because I didn't want to make it and then it stunk. Okay. And also the ingredients seemed really weird, really foreign. Okay. So I did not feel very comfortable with it. I shared my dilemma with the owner of this Thai restaurant, and what he did was something amazing, and it changed my life. He took me back in the kitchen, and I met his chef, and his chef showed me step by step how he makes Thai food. He showed me the ingredients that he purchased. He showed me how to add them in. He even talked about what flavors they usually bring to the dish. So if you're looking for more of a sweet and sour flavor, then you'll want to use tamarind paste. Okay, things like that. And it totally transformed the way that I looked at cooking Thai food. So it increased my self-efficacy, so to speak, on and courage on trying new recipes and trying new things. So it's for that reason and for that experience, because of that experience, that's why every week I'm sharing with you step by step how the heck do I make this? Because a lot of times people will suggest great things to eat, okay, and low calorie things, but you're looking at it, it seems interesting, but at the same time you're looking and saying, well, how in the world do I make this? Okay, so that's why I'm giving you step by step instruction and filming of how do you make this so you can do it yourself. And I'll also be taking your suggestions as we work together on things that maybe you've got a little tripping point there where you're just like, I kind of want to try this, but I'm not really sure. I'll sit up there and even make a customized tutorial for you specifically based on the foods that you like. Okay. Now, finally, the personal training part of it. What I found is if you attack too many things at once, it gets a little overwhelming for your brain and your self-efficacy and your ability to believe that you can actually accomplish that thing just takes a nosedive. So once we get the brain on the track of being reprogrammed, okay, to have you be able to be in a room with your tempting foods, especially over the holidays, and be able to walk away or just take one, okay? Once we're on track with that, then we introduce the training. I've had ladies tell me that they can't stand exercise or they don't like the gym. No problem. Got you covered. I'll show you exercise that you could do based at home, or even if you're afraid to go to the gym because you don't really know what equipment to use, I'll even give you tutorials on that as well. Okay. But it will be based on what you and I and what we discuss. And we craft this together based on whatever your biggest challenges are for working out. Let's attack it together. And that way you have a personalized training experience. And because I'm certified in personal training, I actually know what in the world I might be doing instead of speculating. Okay. All right. So now, how does all of this sound, ladies? Hopefully, this solves a lot of the challenges that you experience. And one of the reasons why I set this up and created it this way is my study that I created was already successful, but I wanted to do more. I wanted to make it impossible for anyone to fall behind in their fitness goals. Okay. Now, what I propose to you is not something that's for everyone. If you're not ready to transform, because I'm going to be talking with you about all different parts of your life. I'm going to be talking about your personal life. We're going to be talking personally together about your health and what your goals are, where you are and where you want to be. And I'm going to be helping you move the needle and help you take steps towards future you. But you have to understand your brain loves you and your body loves you, and what it wants to do is keep you comfortable. So some of this is going to feel uncomfortable for you. But I am here with you and going to be here with you to help you navigate that discomfort in order to make that easier for you. Okay. Now, if you went to the gym, you could get a personal trainer and they would probably cost you $1,000 to $2,000 a month for 3 sessions a week. I have had people share with me that they've spoken with a nutritionist, and when the nutritionist sets them up on their plans, the nutritionist costs anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000, sometimes $3,000. Okay. Just coaching, life coaching itself is $5,000. Okay. And these are things that are all really important things. My thing is, why have them separately? Why pay for them separately? Why not just simply put the whole thing together? Because the whole thing together is the key to helping you transform. So I'm not asking for an investment of anything on the scale of that. Okay. Originally, the program was $6,997. But I want to make this something that could be obtainable for everyone. So you don't have to run out and get a nutritionist. You don't have to run out and get a personal trainer. You don't have to run out and get a life coach. You don't have to run out and get a health coach. All those things together, even if you just did $2,000 per for each one, and I'm lowballing the life coach because I've seen life coaches charge about $5,000, okay? But if I just lowball it at $2,000 per with the life coach, the nutritionist, the personal trainer, and the health coach, you're already looking at $8,000. But I want to make this something that would be accessible, okay? Still an investment, but nevertheless accessible, okay? So instead, what I'm proposing is an investment of $2,997, okay? Now, this is not for everyone. If you're not interested in changing, then this may not be for you. I chat with ladies that consider bariatric surgery, okay? And ladies that consider bariatric surgery think that it might be the solution to their problem. And it is to a degree. But there's one thing that we're overlooking when we consider bariatric surgery. It's still surgery, okay? Now, bariatric surgery costs $30,000 to sometimes almost $70,000. You can cut that cost down if you want to go to Mexico or India. Okay, there are vacation retreats that medical vacation retreats is what they call them for bariatric surgery. There are drugs, but they have side effects like loose stools, to say the least, high blood pressure, numbness and tingling in the fingers. You can have the sleep apnea machine, and that kit and dealing with that costs a lot. Okay. What would it look like for you to wake up and not have pain in your knee, for example, because you're finally moving towards future you? What would it look like to not have so many times where you need to call off sick? Okay. What would it look like and feel like for you to be able to not have to battle with willpower? Because this is not about willpower. I hope you understand that. Lord knows I've learned that it's not about willpower. But what would it be like to be able to reprogram your mind to the point that you're able to walk down the aisle and see the chips that you used to eat and the things that you used to consume, and you not feel inclined to do that because you don't identify with that person anymore. You're no longer that person anymore. Okay? What would it feel like for those of us that have children to be able to play with your children and not be winded? Now, right now it's wintertime where I'm at, so I'm not going to be running after my children outside on the playground. But when I was running after my children outside on the playground, that was fun for me. Okay. My daughter and I played personal trainer for a day. Yeah, I know. And she had me run from one end of the playground to the other. But before getting to the other end of the playground, she wanted me to crawl through the slides and the tunnels, and she wants me to run up the ladder and all that fun stuff. How would that feel to be able to do something like that with your children? If that's something that you want to do, whatever your jam is, climbing up the stairs, up and down with your children, running after your children, or not, or just being able to get up off the floor. My mom, she used to have a hard time getting up off the floor when we were playing. I remember when I was younger. Okay. What about even the clothes that you want to wear? Are there some clothes that you love to wear, but you feel that you need to shift your size a little bit? What about, even better yet, finding clothes at the current size? Let's talk fashion, okay? What would it feel like for you to be able to feel even better in the skin that you're in? Look, I don't know how many webinars and live trainings that you've attended. I know they always do the price comparison, but some of these things, I'm sorry, there is no price to put on that. It's your happiness, okay? So the next step because I want to get to know you and I want to immerse myself in you and your life and where your headspace is and find ways to work within that headspace to make a shift and transform and do a deep dive. Okay. I'm not looking for everyone to join. This is going to take commitment. I'm only looking for ladies that are committed to working together because that is going to equal your transformation. So the next step is, if you're interested, I invite you to apply. The link is listed below, and I'm also going to provide you the link here for you to click on. Let's click a time and we'll just chat for 15 minutes and see if this is something that is a good opportunity for you and if working together should be the next step and if I can help you based on your life goals. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. This webinar and training was called Control the Urge to Overeat This Holiday. My name is Dr. Kirsten Grant. I'm a transformational health coach and founder of Phoenix 6. I'm also the creator of edibleaddiction.com. My contact information is listed below at kgrant@edibleaddiction.com, 312-601-8510. Thank you so much for attending. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Bye-bye.